My beloved brothers and sisters, peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Listen closely to me today. I want you to set aside every distraction, put down whatever is pulling your attention away, take a slow, deep breath, and come with me into a space of honest reflection. Because what I am about to share with you might be one of the most uncomfortable yet the most liberating truths you will ever hear. We spend our entire lives acting as architects of our own disappointment. We design these elaborate blueprints for happiness, and at the center of every single design we place a human being. We tell ourselves, if I could just hold that person's hand, if I could just hear those words from that specific friend, if I could just get that level of validation from my spouse, my parent, my family, then, and only then, will I finally be at peace. We build our entire emotional architecture around the presence, the approval, or the affection of people. We draw up the plans, we lay the foundation, we wait for the walls to rise, and when they do not rise the way we imagined, we blame ourselves. We blame them, we blame life, but we rarely look at the blueprint. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly, not to me but to your own heart. How long has that worked for you? How long does that high last before the hunger returns? How many times have you felt that brief moment of relief, that temporary warmth, that quiet sigh of validation, only to wake up the next morning with the exact same emptiness sitting heavy in your chest? You are standing in the middle of a vast, sun-baked desert. You are parched. You are desperate. Your throat is dry. Your steps are heavy, and you are searching for water. And then you see it, a shimmer on the horizon, a reflection that looks exactly like what you have been longing for. For a split second, your heart leaps. You think it is real. You run toward it. You reach out, and your hands come back dry. Your throat burns even more. That shimmer was never water. It was a mirage, a trick of the light, a reflection of something that does not exist in the place you are standing. My dear brothers and sisters, that is the reality of seeking fulfillment in the creation. We chase the shimmer. We mistake the reflection for the source. We pour our energy, our tears, our prayers, our hopes into people who were never designed to carry the weight of our eternal longing. And when they cannot hold it, when they falter, when they turn away, when they show us their humanity, we call it betrayal, we call it abandonment, we call it failure. But it is not failure, it is physics, it is spiritual physics. You are trying to fill an infinite space with a finite vessel. It will never work, and the exhaustion you feel is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are finally sensing the mismatch. We are guilty of a grand spiritual misunderstanding. We have mistaken the vessel for the source. Your husband, your wife, your friend, your parent, your mentor, your community, they are all vessels, beautiful vessels, yes, flawed, fragile, human vessels, yes, but vessels nonetheless. They are carrying their own burdens, they are fighting their own battles. They are trying to stay afloat in the same storm you are navigating, and yet you expect them to pour infinite, unwavering, perfect love into your heart. You expect them to be consistent when they are exhausted. You expect them to be steady when they are breaking. You expect them to be your anchor when they are drowning themselves. You are setting them up to fail, and you are setting yourself up to be shattered. This is not about dismissing human love. Human love is a gift. It is a mercy. It is a reflection of divine beauty. But it is not the destination, it is a signpost. It points towards something greater, and when we confuse the signpost for the destination, we lose our way. We end up circling the same desert, drinking the same mirage, wondering why we are still thirsty. The human heart is not a standard container. It is not a cup that can be filled with a few kind words, a few shared memories, a few moments of attention. It is an abyss. It is a profound, deep, eternal space that echoes with the voice of the one who shaped it. When Allah breathed the soul into your chest, He did not leave you with a hollow shell. He left you with a space that is calibrated to His presence. It is tuned to His remembrance. It resonates with His light. And when you try to force the world, with all its messy, fleeting, and fragile people, to fill that abyss, you are not just hurting yourself. You are doing an injustice to the very nature of your soul. You are asking a candle to light the sun. You are asking a drop of water to fill the ocean. It is not designed to work that way. The Almighty, in His infinite, majestic mercy, has placed a quiet boundary on the deepest chamber of your heart. He created that space specifically for His remembrance, His presence, His guidance, His peace. When you try to crowd that space with the opinions, the approval, or the affection of people, You are essentially trying to fit a mountain into a needle's eye. It does not work. It causes pressure. It only causes pain. It only leaves you feeling more hollow than before, because you have filled a divine space with human noise, and human noise fades. It echoes, and then it disappears. And when it disappears, you are left with the same emptiness. Only now you have added exhaustion, disappointment, and resentment to the mix. You see, when you rely on people for your emotional stability, your happiness becomes a hostage. If they wake up in a bad mood, your whole day is ruined. If they ignore your message, your self-worth plummets. If they withdraw their attention, you feel like your life has lost its meaning. If they change their tone, you spiral into anxiety. If they walk away, you feel like the ground has disappeared beneath you. Is that freedom? No, that is captivity. You are living in a prison built by your own desperate need for human validation. And the cruelest part is that you are both the warden and the prisoner. You hold the key, but you have convinced yourself that the door is locked from the outside. But I am here to tell you, with complete compassion and absolute clarity, that there is a way out. The door to this prison is not locked. It never was. It has been waiting for you to simply push it open. And the moment you do, you will realize that the chains you thought were holding you down were only shadows. True fulfillment is not a feeling you get from someone else. It is not a text message. It is not a compliment. It is not a promise that may or may not be kept. It is a quiet, steady, ironclad confidence that comes when you finally realize, I have the King of the universe on my side. When you are anchored in the love of Allah, you no longer need people to prove you are worthy. You no longer need them to validate your existence. You no longer need them to fill the spaces that were designed to be filled by Him. You already know your worth, not because of what anyone says about you, but because you were honored by the Creator of the heavens and the earth. He chose you. He breathed life into you. He sustained you through every breath you did not even think about. He kept your heart beating while you slept. He opened your eyes when you woke. He placed you on this earth with a purpose. And if He did all of that for you, do you really think He will abandon you in your search for peace? When you start to fill your heart with the words of Allah, with the quiet sincerity of night prayers, with the private, honest conversations you have with your Lord in the stillness of your room, you will notice something beautiful. You will not feel it all at once. It will not hit you like a lightning bolt. It will come like dawn, slowly, quietly, consistently. You will start to walk differently. You will stand differently. You will speak differently. You will stop begging for love because you are already overflowing with it. You will stop searching for completeness in others because you have realized you were already complete in His grace. You will stop chasing reflections because you have finally turned to face the light. Tonight, I want you to make a promise to your own soul, not to anyone else, not to your phone, not to the people who have let you down, to yourself. Stop the scavenger hunt. Stop looking for your missing piece in the eyes of people who are searching for their own pieces. Turn your gaze upward. Turn your heart inward. Bring your hunger to the only one who can satisfy it. Bring your thirst to the only source that never runs dry. Bring your exhaustion to the only rest that does not ask you to perform. May the Almighty strip away your dependency on the creation, so that you may find your absolute, unbreakable independence in Him. May He heal the places where you have been let down, and may He fill your heart with a peace so profound that no human being can ever disrupt it. Until we meet again, may the peace, mercy, and blessings of the Almighty be upon you all. Let us take a step back and look at this honestly. Why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep returning to the same wells, expecting different water? The answer is not that we are foolish. The answer is that we are human, and humans are wired for connection. We crave belonging. We crave being seen. We crave being chosen. There is nothing wrong with that desire. In fact, it is a reflection of our fitra, our natural disposition as beings created for relationship. But the tragedy is not in the desire. The tragedy is in the direction. We point our longing toward the creation, when the creation was only ever meant to point us toward the Creator. Think about how we have been conditioned. From the moment we are young, we are taught that love looks like attention, that validation looks like approval, that worth looks like being chosen. We are taught to measure our value by how many people notice us, how many people stay, how many people say the right words at the right time. And when those things fade, we do not question the metric. We question ourselves. We think, maybe I am too much. Maybe I am not enough. Maybe if I try harder, if I change, if I shrink, if I perform, they will finally stay. And so we bend, we twist, we contort ourselves into shapes we were never designed to hold. We silence our needs, we swallow our boundaries, we apologize for existing in our fullness, and all the while, the emptiness grows, because we are not starving for attention, we are starving for truth. We are not thirsty for validation, we are thirsty for connection to the source. Allah says in the Quran, those who believe, and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of Allah. Unquestionably, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Notice the wording, not in the praise of people, not in their approval, not in their presence, not in their consistency, in the remembrance of Allah. Rest, not excitement, not a rush, not a temporary high. Rest, the kind that settles into your bones, the kind that quietens the noise, the kind that makes you exhale for the first time in years. And that rest is not earned. It is received. It is not something you achieve through performance. It is something you access through surrender. But surrender is terrifying when you have spent your life trying to control how people see you. Surrender feels like falling. It feels like letting go of the rope you have been gripping so tightly that your hands have bled, and you are afraid that if you let go you will disappear. But what if the rope was the very thing keeping you from landing on solid ground? What if the rope was an illusion? What if the solid ground was waiting for you all along, but you were so busy trying to climb toward people that you never looked down to see what was beneath your feet? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, understood this deeply. He was the most beloved of creation, yet he never placed his peace in the approval of people. When they rejected him, he did not crumble. When they mocked him, he did not break. When they turned away, he did not chase. He turned upward, he turned inward, he turned to Allah. And in that turning he found a strength that no human rejection could shake. He taught us that a believer is dignified, that a believer knows their worth because they know their Creator, that a believer does not beg for what Allah has already placed within them. He taught us that patience is not passive endurance of harm. It is active trust in Allah while taking wise protective steps. It is knowing when to hold on, and knowing when to let go. And the greatest letting go is not of people. It is of the illusion that people were ever meant to hold you together. Many of you are carrying invisible wounds. Wounds from relationships that promised forever but delivered seasons. Wounds from friendships that felt like home but became hallways. Wounds from family ties that should have been safe but became heavy. And you have been trying to heal those wounds with more of the same. More attention, more explanations, more efforts, more waiting. But you cannot heal a wound with the same hand that caused it. You cannot fill a spiritual hunger with emotional snacks. You cannot anchor your soul in shifting sand and expect it to stand firm when the wind rises. So what do? You begin with honesty. Brutal, gentle, compassionate honesty with yourself. You stop asking, why did they leave? And you start asking, why did I tie my peace to their presence? You stop asking, what did I do wrong? And you start asking, what boundary did I ignore? You stop asking, will they ever change? And you start asking, what would my life look like if I finally chose myself? Not in a selfish way, in a sacred way, in the way Allah intends, in the way that honors the trust He placed in you when He gave you a heart, a mind, a soul. You begin to observe. You begin to notice the patterns. You begin to see how your mood rises and falls based on someone else's behavior, how your breath tightens when they are distant, how your thoughts spiral when they are inconsistent, how your entire day can be ruined by a single unread message. And instead of judging yourself for it, you simply acknowledge it. You say, I have been living in captivity, and I am ready to walk out. Not with anger, not with bitterness, not with revenge, but with clarity, with quiet determination, with the steady confidence of someone who finally understands that their peace is not up for negotiation. And then, you begin to rewire. You do not do it overnight. You do it in steps. Small, consistent, deliberate steps. You begin to turn to Allah before you turn to people. You begin to speak to Him before you speak to them. You begin to pour your heart out to Him before you pour it out to anyone else. You begin to sit in the stillness and let the noise settle. You begin to read the Quran not as a duty but as a conversation. You begin to pray not as a checklist but as a meeting. You begin to make dhikr not as a habit but as a lifeline. And slowly the hunger shifts. It does not disappear, it transforms. It moves from a desperate craving for human validation to a quiet, steady longing for divine presence. And that longing does not drain you, it sustains you. You will still love people, you will still care, you will still show up, but you will no longer depend on them to hold your peace. You will no longer outsource your worth. You will no longer make their consistency the foundation of your stability. You will love them with open hands, not clenched fists. You will care for them with boundaries, not desperation. You will show up with presence, not performance. And when they falter, you will not collapse. When they withdraw, you will not spiral. When they leave, you will not shatter. Because your foundation is no longer built on shifting human behavior. It is built on the unshakable presence of Allah. This is not about becoming cold. This is about becoming clear. This is not about closing your heart. This is about protecting it. This is not about rejecting love. The East is about redirecting it to its source. And when you do that, something remarkable happens. Your relationships become healthier. Your boundaries become stronger. Your peace becomes unbreakable. Your worth becomes non-negotiable. And you stop chasing reflections because you are finally standing in the light. May Allah free every heart that has been trapped in the illusion of human validation. May He heal the wounds of those who have given too much to people who could not hold it. May He replace your hunger with His presence, your thirst with His mercy, your exhaustion with His rest. May He give you the courage to walk out of the prison you built, and the wisdom to never return. May He fill your days with clarity, your nights with peace, and your heart with the unshakable confidence that you are seen, you are valued, and you are never alone. Ameen.